And earlier you had mentioned Doyle Brunson, and you had a big smile on your face. Can you share any stories about Doyle Brunson?
I knew Billy. I knew Doyle Brunson, and of course I knew Billy Baxter. I knew Chip Reese. I knew Puggy Pearson. I knew all those guys before I moved to Las Vegas because I spent a lot of time here in the 70s. Doyle was my first partner, and he was a high gambler and big poker player, and he liked to bet sports, and so he was my first partner, financial partner. So he put up all the money, and back in those days, the belief was you couldn't win betting on ball games. But if you did think you could win, the most bets you could make would maybe be 2 or 3 a week, at the most. The first week, I made about 35 bets, and we lost over $1 million. And this was in '82, and Doyle went into shock. $1 million in 1982 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Billy Baxter was his partner at the time because I'd gone to Billy first, and Billy he didn't want to partner up. I mean, we laugh about it today because Billy's another one of my best friends. But at the time when I moved to Las Vegas, I had a reputation of a guy that drank. I had a reputation of a guy who couldn't manage his money well. I had a reputation of a guy who was a real dangerous gambler and probably somebody. But eventually I tossed my money off probably from drinking. So Billy decided he'd pass, but he called Doyle and he put us together. And so after I lost $1 million, Doyle called Billy up and he said, "You ain't never done a goddamn thing that's good for me." He said, and Billy's answer was, he hesitated for a minute, and Doyle told me this story. He hesitated for a minute, and Billy said, "Doyle," said, "I just ain't that smart." So anyway, the next week, we won our money back, and we won 200 and some odd thousand. I think we won 240. Doyle said, "I can't take this anymore," and so we cut the 240 up.
He couldn't take the swings.
No, he couldn't take the swings. We cut the 240 up. I got 120. He got 120, and then my new partner was Chip Reese, and who was entirely different than Doyle. And then we were partners up until we dissolved our partnership in December of '84. But anyway.
Great guys. There's one guy you do talk about in the book who many people credit as being the founding father of Las Vegas and a genius, but it sounds like your relationship wasn't so good, and that's Steve Wynn. Is it really just because you beat him at roulette? Is that really the extent of that?
100%, nothing more.
You beat him for like $2.5 million on a roulette table?
I won a little bit more money than that from him, but yeah, I was 100% because I won money from him at the roulette.
And he was your friend prior to that?
Prior to that, we played poker, we played golf together, we did a lot of things together. Yeah, 100%. And the week before I lost the money to him, I won the money from him. I lost $1 million to him playing blackjack.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that, and he just didn't like the fact that he lost. Okay, so it's more. And did you ever reconcile those differences, or to this day you never spoke again after you beat him at roulette?
No.
Did he know it was because the table had bias? Is that what it was?
They actually sent the table to the manufacturer to have it checked. The manufacturer told them the table was fine. And then my understanding was he sent it to NASA, had the table cut up to see if there was nothing wrong with the table. But he sent Paul and Son are the people who was the manufacturer. He sent it to them because he thought and they told him this table's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
But you and your team found some number bias.
We felt like there was some bias. What we realized back in those days is the average roulette wheel at the time was probably 20 years old. And every roulette wheel had some bias to it, okay? And every one of them did. But the majority of them, there wasn't enough of a bias to be able to overcome the negative percentage, the 2 zeros or the 1 0. But there were some, and what I would initially do is I'd get 3,000 numbers on a wheel, and if it looked like there may be a bias there, then I'd get another 27,000 numbers. And we would run a program to, if in fact, try to confirm there was enough of a bias to overcome the house edge. And I started playing roulette wheels, and I played them all over Nevada, Atlantic City, a lot of places. And then I got where I couldn't play, and I started using other people to play. And then what happened was, eventually everybody ended up buying all new roulette wheels, and they replaced them. But if you were to hold a gun to my head and somebody said, "I'm going to blow your brains out," I couldn't tell you what was wrong with those roulette wheels. I had bought a roulette wheel, I disassembled it, and it was like any mechanical device. It was like an airplane or a car or anything else. And if it weren't maintained properly or a part was worn, you could create a bias. And
you think that, so the wheels are just better today, so there's less. It still must happen today. I still see it down with our roulette wheels. We try to follow along to make sure there isn't that. But I'm guessing there's guys getting 27,000 pieces of data on a wheel to make sure that they find an edge. It probably still goes on today to a degree.
I think the wheels are a lot better today in the way they're manufactured. I think it's a lot more difficult because you can move the 3 today could be 32 tomorrow. So
Thank you for making me feel better about that.
Yeah.
I do lose sleep about the wheels. We're the only single zero roulette table in the city.
Well,
frankly.
and it's still one of the strongest games in the entire world is a single zero. They've been dealing single zero roulette wheels in Europe for hundreds of years.
That's what I always based on, because I used to gamble in the UK and I lost a lot of money on roulette. And I'm like, why do we have to do double zero if we can do single zero and still give people a better game?
Right.
Rich wants to know who got you 27,000 numbers on a roulette wheel, but I'm guessing you had guys doing that for you.
I did have guys doing it.
You're not sitting there getting 27.
No, I paid people to do it.
Yeah.
And at the time, they would give you special rules on roulette where if it hit zero, it would be a no bet.
They still will.
They still will?
Oh, sure. If you're a big enough player, any of these joints will bar a zero for you.
Okay.
I mean, again, you know what the per is. With 1-0, it's still one of the strongest games in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now some places have 000 on their roulette wheel.
Yeah. Next thing you know, they have 4.
No, the best is, though, I hear the customers and they see the triples. They're like, oh, that's good. We got more chance to land it in that number. We got more chance to land it on the greens.